Right then, so here we are down in the assembly area. Thank you to James for throwing over. We can see here the weather's drying up again, which is making the track quite slippy. Some final preparations. Let's get a shot of them through here, John Boy. If you just have a look, this is what it looks like. They go out on the race, all lined up, cleaned, repaired, ready to rock and roll. Steve Powell there, Dave Jenkins with a toot from the horn in the 69. Michael Oliver, number 12. I like this. Well, listen to the different tones as we come along. We've got John Bowler here. Dave Smith. There we go. John Powell with some revving of the engine. Over here we've got Neil Yates. You can hear the noise now if you really listen. Exhaust pipe, turbo powered, with the Adams Morey sponsored John Powell racing truck. Let's we're all locking in now. You all right? Oh yeah, he wants us. What?
You okay?
Yeah, you.
Loud, isn't it?
It was very loud. It's giving them a taste at home of how loud it is when you're stood right next to the truck.
I have to wear noise cancelling headphones, otherwise I can't hear anything for about a week afterwards. So.
I was saying, I struggle as well. I think yeah, exactly. I shout so much when I'm interviewing drivers through here because I can't hear me, I can't hear you.
Naturally.
I'm just loud naturally, yeah, no street.
Yeah.
Chatting to your sponsors earlier on, we've got a special guest handing out the trophies after this, haven't we?
I believe so. It's Angry Trucker Dave, I believe.
Angry Trucker Dave. I mean, I've never had the pleasure, so I'm looking for. So make sure he hands it to you, right?
He's actually not that angry once you get to know him. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's just all on the outside.
Did you give him a run for his money?
I think we've already punched his truck.
Oh, there we go. Right then, not long until the next race now, starting on pole position. Well, not pole, but on the front. We've got to make that stick.
Well, if it continues to rain, which I'm hoping it is, then I'm going to try and get the whole shot and go for it. And try and get the overall win if we can, but if it dries up, we probably don't stand a chance too much, but we'll try our best. So.
Just don't let anybody past, you'll be okay. Right, John Powell, ladies and gentlemen, very good there. Let's just quickly run round then, see who we've got. It's all very calm here. If you look over on the bank though, loads of people. 30 seconds. They're going out now actually. If we look over here, we've got the Adams sponsored pace truck now. I believe actually driven by Angry Trucker Dave. So we're going to make our way out the way. I'm going to run over to see Ewan in the commentary box, as I believe we're very soon about to go racing here at Thruxton. Over to you, Ewan and Pointy.
Thank you. Pointy throwing to himself in commentary. He'll be running around the corner in a roundabout, well, it's about a 60-second sprint from Parc Fermé to our commentary position. Thank you very much. So hopefully Stuart Oliver's going to join us again as well, but I had confirmation of that. As you can see, the trucks are making their way out on to the circuit. They'll make their way around to the grid. Now, in previous rounds and series, they've always stopped on the grid and then gone for their green lap. But yesterday, because of the delay, they just went round the circuit and pretty much got going straight off the bat. So let's wait and see. Oh, I said it'd be 60 seconds. You've done that in 42. Yes. Well done, Pointy. Come on in. So let's have a look at the grid then. Front row, as Pointy's just been talking to, Neil Yates alongside John Powell. Row number 2, David Smith and John Bowler. Row 3, Michael Oliver and David Jenkins. Row 4, Stephen Powell and Ryan Smith. On row number 5, Paul Rivette and Simon Cole. Isn't it great to see John Powell up there? Div 2 on the front row. I know it's reversing things, but it does make for all-round trucking entertainment.
Indeed it does, yeah. I mean, the reverse grid, of course, for the top 8 of the entire pack is why we've seen now John Powell make his way onto the front row. Tom O'Rourke, of course, at the back there. No more Archie for the rest of the weekend, I believe, though, unfortunately. We have had a word with Simon and team, and they've been working on the clutch tirelessly, but unfortunately they just cannot seem to figure out what's going on with it. They've tried the airline from another truck to see whether they can get it to power up externally, but it just doesn't want to know.
Absolutely fantastic. So race number 3 earlier on this morning, just to remind you, Ryan Smith had a Dave Jenkins on John Bowler in Div 2. John Bowler got the Div 2 win, but of course got a fantastic finish too ahead of Paul Rivette. Ryan Smith, 3 wins this weekend. That is, I mean, Ryan Smith, we talk about a lot, he's a multiple champion. 3 wins this weekend. Can anyone stop him?
I don't think they can. I mean, one thing I think is important to notice, we were looking through the live stream comments earlier on, actually, just to catch up on the fields out there. Quite a few comments on how Ryan Smith's not really getting mentioned very often. Of course, the unfortunate thing is that when you're at the very front and there's no competition there whatsoever of people challenging your position, we're obviously here to watch the racing. So if there's no real racing going on, I mean, as soon as somebody gets to the back of him, believe me, we will be all over it with the commentary. But of course, the tricky thing about being 10, 12 seconds ahead of the pack is that there's no racing going on here.
It's not much to watch, is it?
No, I mean, it's great news, fantastic result, brilliant driving, epic speed. But of course, it's all going on 12 seconds behind you, which is, of course, where the cameras will most likely be watching predominantly. So if you want more screen time, slow down.
If there's one thing Ryan Smith is not going to do,
especially
down. Under your
definitely
orders,
not going to do
it's going to be slowed down.
No, definitely not. No, but of course, it's all about the trophies, and he will probably be going home with another one today. But of course, what a position to be starting in. I'm going to be watching Neil Yates, John Powell. This is going to be an interesting start. But of course, what we saw from John Bowler in the race this morning, his first trophy of the weekend, a great 3rd place and brilliant driving there, challenging Tom O'Rourke for 75% of that race. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with this 2nd row opportunity with the might of Michael Oliver and Dave Jenkins right behind him.
Just to correct myself very quickly, of course it was John Powell that got the Div 2 win earlier. John Bowler 3rd overall in Div 1. And we are racing, lights are out, feet down on the front row. Neil Yates and John Powell, the Div 2 driver. Can he do anything to hold back the big rigs behind him?
God, it looks fast round there, doesn't it? My goodness.
I mean, we've said it so many times, this is the fastest circuit in the UK.
Whoa, we've got massive impact.
Michael Oliver, and who's that behind
Dave Smith, I believe. We've got
and
Dave Smith. Is he coming across?
Oh,
it's a near miss, but we've got break all the way round as Dave Smith manages to slow himself down to avoid. The drivers have made it through, but Michael Oliver is not going to be in a good condition. Can we get a replay of how Michael Oliver ended up mounting the back of Dave Smith there?
Oh, that came from nowhere. That was the entry into the complex.
Just as we change cameras, but the race is still under race conditions for some reason. We are powering on. No one seems to have got the memo as they're all putting the power down before that inevitable red flag comes out, but it's not happened yet.
There is no flags yet, so maybe out of picture. He's got underway, but that looks fairly significant. Here we go then into the complex. Oh my goodness!
It looks like Dave Jenkins was moving across ever so slightly, looking for that corner. Dave Smith was there. Michael Oliver just ran out of road by the looks of it, and of course ended up with almost getting a lift from Dave Smith.
I must say, congrats to all the drivers for avoiding that collision in the 2nd half of the complex.
Virtual safety car is now out, so they will be bunching up, slowing down. The virtual safety car is something we've implemented since Brands Hatch now. We see that on the light there. There will all be a maximum speed limit of 60k, I believe, as they tootle round, waiting to see whether we can get this recovered quickly. But we have Michael Oliver now out of the truck on the circuit now. We have officially a red flag. With 13 minutes left on the clock. This will be hopefully a snatch recovery which gets the race underway as soon as we can.
Yeah, it's on the tarmac, not in a danger, well, it's a dangerous position, but not difficult for the recovery trucks to pick up whatsoever. It's just a matter of getting the debris off the track. I mean, That would have been a bumpy ride.
That
for
was
Michael
big.
Oliver.
Yeah, that was big. I mean, you know, I think we're just grateful and touching wood that he managed to come away from that as well as he did. Already out of the cab. Not a great weekend for GT racing though, with the Oliver transport. Yeah. So, and here comes Stuart Oliver, who apparently has missed the coming together. If we're just in time for the replays, we see Michael Oliver there running out of road behind Dave Smith. Sends him sliding. Dave, along with the drive, really.
They avoided the collision here, which is remarkable, just in time. But that will be
that could have been a lot worse than it was. Could have been a lot worse than it was.
A rose between two thorns has just arrived.
Come on in, Stuart. I'll try not to tap you on the back this time with your dodgy ribs.
You've literally just seen a replay of that as you've walked in. First reactions.
Yeah, that was quite a shock. We were just saying how things were going really well, but that sort of changed the direction of the weekend a little bit for Michael and the team. But hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully he's all right. Obviously, that's the main thing. We don't want too wounded.
Here's the replay live again.
Yeah, it's.
It looks like it was almost four abreast.
Yeah.
The sun was to the left.
It is, yeah. That's right. Yeah, you've got Ryan, and I think was that Steve Powell in the middle. Yeah, so four abreast. Yeah, so it's. Yeah, but it was lucky that it didn't happen the second round of the contact. But yeah, it's a shame. But it does show. Yeah, that's right. Ryan, wow. Dave, Steve Powell, Dave Smith's in there. Yeah, it's a real. Steve Powell's at the back. Yeah, so. Yeah. No, that's unfortunate.
I mean,
good.
That's a bumpy ride in there, isn't it?
It is a bumpy ride. Yeah, it is a bumpy ride. Oh, he's away.
Oh, hang on a second. Okay.
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he's away. So, but I think he will have some shock absorber issues and spring issues. But he's obviously, as you can see there, he's weaving it around, seeing what it feels like. He'd be on the radio to the lads and saying, well, it's either feeling right or feeling wrong. But
you know what? It doesn't look that bad, does it? Considering what how far in the air it went.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, it depends whether it was the axle that made contact with the back of Dave's truck or whether it's just the bumper. But fingers crossed, like you say, it doesn't look that bad.
I mean, with poor Michael's history of broken springs on the front of that thing, I can see handling is probably going to be an issue. He does seem to be taking his time, feeling out whether it's okay. But yeah, the damage we usually see from these trucks, especially of that kind of impact, the framework of those bumpers, which can get damaged quite quickly, seems okay. Looks like as well we're being blessed with a full 15-minute restart as well. Will Michael be joining the pack? That is the question, and where from?
Well, let's wait and see. And now, Stuart, your insight here, when this happens, and it looks to us like a pretty bad accident, but he's obviously got it going again, who makes the final decision? Is it scrutineering? We'll have a look and say, yes, you can or no, you can't. They can't just go off Michael's like it feels okay, can they?
No, absolutely not. You know, safety is paramount. And I would imagine the camera hasn't got them, but the scrutineers will be up at the end of the... that's Terry Cox, the chief scrutineer, walking up there. So the deciding factor will be whether Michael takes to the pit lane or whether he comes back for his grid position. Obviously, if he comes to his grid position, the scrutineers will come to the truck, check it over, make sure everything's intact, make sure it. Obviously, a few panels missing, but hopefully all is well that side. And there isn't any of my mechanics or Michael's mechanics up in the pit by the pit garages, so that's a good sign because obviously they've been on the radio. So. All being well, fingers crossed, he'll come back round. And
is there an amount of time they give to find that out, or what's the rules around that? Do you know?
No, there'll be a board come out very shortly, I would imagine, saying countdown of 5 minutes.
So there's no grace whatsoever given if you have an accident. It's just like get around there as soon as you can, and when we say we're going, we are going. Oh, there it is, just on the right hand side. Just missed it in camera there. So this was the start of the race. Neil Yates and John Powell left and right on the front there. Now let's have a look what we're talking about. So we went a 4 abreast, didn't see on this angle, but you see Ryan Smith coming on the left hand side. Michael moves out to the right here. David Jenkins is also in the mix, and then 4 wide doesn't work, up and bang. Well, and that was the slide that scared me a bit, but managed to avoid any further impact.
Yeah, that's it is unfortunate that, you know, it does look as just a sort of a chain of events that one moves over, another moves over, and then there isn't room on the track, because the last thing you want to do in Michael's position is get on the grass, because the next corner in front of him is a tight right-hander where trucks are going around in front of him. If he goes on the grass there, it makes it even worse than what actually did happen.
He's got no helmet on, but Michael looks to be quite keen to get back in there, doesn't he?
He does, that's right, yeah. That's Mr. David Cartwright, who is the official. He will no doubt be making the decision. The truck doesn't look too bad, but the guys are looking out under the front. I would imagine there's a broken shock absorber. I'd be very surprised.
Is that terminal?
That's terminal for this race, yeah.
Race number 5?
Yeah, well, that's...
Bear in mind we've got 2 teams in the GT tent this weekend with only 1 truck to work on, so they should be able to get it back out, I think. But yeah, I mean, a lot of thought process going into this. But of course, most importantly, a restart to the race. You know, even if Michael isn't involved, we're going to see another opportunity for John Powell in the old Greenhouse Group racing truck on the front there.
It's a shame he got a great start, didn't he?
He did as well. This is it. So I mean, you know, a replay. Will it be a replay or will it be a retake? No one will know until we get back under racing orders. We've got lots of team members around there, though. I believe we've actually got John down there on the camera. There we go with some... I'd usually be there for this, of course. But so, yeah, let's have a look at the damage there then. We've obviously lost a bit more fiberglass panelling, but nothing too serious on the front there. Again, we see very commonly these iron bars get bent underneath quite quickly.
Oh, let's get right in. Let's get right in.
Got the medic there looking... Oh, we've got bits of shock absorber on the floor by the looks of it. Stuart Oliver pointing that out for us. Very good spot there.
And that shouldn't be there, should it?
No, I think actually that'll be the replacement.
Okay.
So that it's obviously, you know, with the truck going up, the axle comes away from the chassis. The shock absorber can only expand a certain amount, and after that it comes apart, and that's what'll have happened there. So, you know, depending on how long it'll take to get the grid back, and you know, boys should be able to put a shock. There's only bolt top and bottom. It's
well, it looks like that's what they're doing, doesn't it? They're
doing,
quite keen to get into that truck.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the team jumping on it. Obviously, Michael Oliver there chatting to some officials down in the pit lane, probably checking on him what happened. We are getting the balaclava back on, though, which looks like it's going to be good news. We've even got the circuit commentary. Mark, we're all there having a look underneath the truck. I think everybody's more shocked at the fact that it's not as damaged as it should be, almost, which is brilliant. Yeah, I think...
They seem to be giving quite a lot of time for this, don't they? Maybe they're still clearing the track, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen it many times in the past. I mean, you know, I've only been doing this 12 years myself, but we've seen plenty of work going on in the pit lane over the last seasons. You know, I mean, there's certain questionable opportunities for work to be done on the truck, but at least this time we've got plenty of support from the officials going on, as they are just looking like they're adjusting the steering now to get access to the linkages for that shock absorber. They are, of course, all working very quickly. I see there one of the mechanics, Harry Drabs there. What's going on? Looks like Michael's foot going back into the truck to steer. That's good. Or is he just in there so we can see some damage to the linkage? Does that look bent to you? That's the power steering box arm. Does that look all right from that angle? Does it? Very good. That's fine. That's fine. That's good. It's fine. We're getting the okay. It's looking positive.
The thing that's against us here, or against Michael, should I say, I've got to be neutral, obviously, standing in here, but the thing that's against Michael is time. You know, clearly, there's obviously, I would imagine, there'll be some track clearing up going on, there'll be some panels and grass and a bit of sweeping up to do. So, you know, once that's done, obviously, the rolling lap will get underway. Obviously, Michael will be starting from the pit lane, so he's got it all to do, but, you know...
Will he start from the pit lane, or will he not be allowed to go up to 6th again? They left a gap for him.
I mean, this is only my opinion, so don't quote me on it. But I would say there's two ways this could go. They might be really nice and let him rejoin the pack. However, if they were to say that he is the cause, not of the red flag per se, but the delay from restarting from the red flag, that may be penalised in such a way that he'll have to start at the back of the pack. However, as we've seen, it's still massively important if he can get back out to get those points from this race, regardless where he finishes. Those extra points are going to look after him in his overall championship points holding at the moment. The actual safety car, not the virtual one, this isn't superimposed, it's a real Ford, that's rolling slowly away. Huge amounts of people on hand. Fingers crossed we're not too far away now from getting him back. And we saw some shots of Michael there getting strapped back in.
If they can replace the shock, is there any lingering sort of effect on performance, or should it be like a fully performing truck then?
It should, if that's the only the pump component that's damaged, it's just a case of replacing the shock absorber, setting the settings. There's bump and rebound settings, so they adjust them to what they were on the one that's damaged, and then on he goes. You know, so no, there shouldn't be any big issues, and it doesn't look like they'll have obviously checked the main components of springs and axle and steering, so there shouldn't be any major. Well, they wouldn't be working on it now if there was. So fingers crossed.
A decision would have been made, I imagine, wouldn't it?
Right, yes. So I must say that the time is at 15 minutes, and we are surely getting somewhere near. Of course, this is this kind of we see in racing, that it's high stress, and you know, Ewan just asking about any effects on the truck. Let's be honest, you know, Michael's just had a bit of a bounce there, and this is, you know, might not perhaps leave the truck worse for the wear, but of course it might take a little bit longer than the 10 minutes he's had for the adrenaline to calm down for what could have been a very nasty moment. So yeah, let's hope that he doesn't. Well, we've got a 30-second marker. So is he going to make it out? They've called the deadline. It's starting. Will he make it out, Ewan? What do you think?
Well, he's going to be starting from the back either way. Might be a lot of catching up to do. So, but as we know in this championship, as long as you finish, you're getting points. And what you don't want to do is not be out there. So even if you do finish last in your division, you're still getting some significant points, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, and you know, we just hope that the Adams Morley pace truck just takes his time going around. You know, in that
quick, send him a text quickly.
That's right. You know,
10 miles an hour.
Stop for a 45-minute break on his way around. You know, but you know, it is what it is. It can be anybody that's in that pit lane, and you know, unfortunately, it's Michael, or unfortunately, it is a truck. So that gives them a little bit more time. So as long as Michael's at the line, ready to go when they come past, you know, hopefully fingers crossed.
It felt to me as though they were quite generous there and gave him the benefit of the doubt and give him a little bit of time to get things sorted, and maybe they have to draw a line somewhere, don't they?
Absolutely. They're not, you know, they cannot hold on, you know, so you know, as you can see the front corner of Michael's truck there, it's obviously come down and had a bit of a dive. There's grass in there, so you know, fingers crossed everything's good, but fixing the shock absorber, yeah, that could get him out there, but you know, there could be steering alignment issues and that, but yeah, no, he's just taking his time there, that pace driver, so that's not a bad thing.
I mean, they're not obviously race trucks, these pace trucks. I've spoken to a couple of the drivers actually. I believe, in fact, the driver of said pace truck is Angry Dave the Trucker, or Trucker Dave. Trucker Angry, I don't know. He's quite big on TikTok, several thousand followers on Instagram as well, and I believe we'll have the honour of him handing out the trophies to the lucky recipients after this next race. He's actually here with the Greenhouse Group, and Dave Morey here this weekend as well. Of course, great sponsors of John Powell, but not only that, supporters of the event. Speaking to one of their guys earlier on, he said it's our local event. We wanted to get out there big, bring Adams Morey to the crowd. They've been making deals, they've been making contacts. The feedback they've had is fantastic. They've brought over 500 guests with them as well, which is just great to show support for the sport. He said literally it's the first year we've been involved, it's definitely not the last.
Wow, fantastic. That's what you want. Sponsors keep this game running, don't they?
They do.
Absolutely critical.
But it's games like this, of course, that benefit the sponsors too. I mean, whether you're looking at pickup trucks, minis, MG Owners Club, you know, they're all here, you know, doing their racing. And again, it's great to see sponsors and supporters and manufacturers getting involved with these sports still, because they want to benefit from contact with a great championship, regardless what vehicle that might be.
And we've seen, regardless of the weather today, the crowds have been fantastic.
They have. Gazebos at the ready. I'll tell you what, though, you talk about the wind we had on Saturday night. There's a fair few gazebos in the wheelie bins over in the show truck stands. My goodness me, they spent some money on gazebos and they are not taking them home.
He's doing you a favour here, isn't he?
He's
going really slow.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's just taking his time. You know,
he might stop for a wee in a minute.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm sure he's maybe doing a bit of tick-tocking or ticking, whatever you do. But I'm not. It was tic-tacs in my day, not tick-tocks. But but no, he is making headway now up the hill to the chicane. So I'm sure they're going to get underway very soon.
So can John Powell get the same start as he had? He was leading through let's say the first few corners. It wasn't get much further than that, did it?
No, indeed. No, I mean, just goes to show though that the reaction time. I mean, racing is so, even when you're not going that quickly, it's still such high speed action, and you've really got to be on it the entire time. And the reaction times that we saw from those drivers to avoid what again could have been a double whammy accident, it was great. I mean, I think that goes to show as well a definite improvement in the quality of racing we've seen over the last few years, where it would have just been a pile-up before, wouldn't it? Right, here we go then. Over to you, Ewan.
It is Neil Yates and John Powell on the front row. John Powell got a great start first time round. Can he do the same again? We want to avoid any sort of compact. We know the compact corners of Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave can cause incidents. We've seen it already. Ryan Smith just being held back as they go round Green Corner. Here they are there towards the complex. Let's get a nice clean slide through here for everybody, please. And that looks much better to me. So Neil Yates out in front ahead of John Powell. We're tidy through the first corners. Progress.
We are underway. It is fantastic news, and what a lovely afternoon for it too. The sun is coming out. I think we just wanted a bit more sunshine. That's what we're waiting for. John Bowler now, though, making a move past John Powell. Will he be able to make that stick? Yes, sideways action from John Bowler there, really putting the power down. They are after it now. Still a full 15-minute race, remember, boys, so make it last. Whereas Ryan Smith takes not one, but is it two possible positions there going round the outside line? It's neck and neck with Dave Jenkins, though. He doesn't want to let him pass, but I don't think he's got a choice.
No, championship rivals. Ryan Smith has been far too quick this weekend. Staying side by side right now, though. Do you know what? Dave Jenkins might hold this one off, Defensive move in as they go around the long left, Brooklands left-hand corner. And he has just about, again, this is one of the widest tracks in the UK, so you can get 2 or 3 trucks wide, but it's not the situation we want to find ourselves in, as Neil Yates just continues to move away. And John Powell, of course, will eventually fall back amongst the pack. And it's a little bit of time through Club Corner, or Club Chicane for the first time. And maybe just some track limits there for Stephen Powell. Dave Jenkins looks to go on the inside up towards Allards, and Ryan Smith getting stuck behind the likes of Powell here. And Dave Jenkins will put a little barrier between himself and Smith.
I mean, how has that happened? So Dave Jenkins has ended up taking 2 positions, left Ryan Smith behind the pair of them. As we're looking further forward, John Bowler battling with Neil Yates now for that first position. This could be an incredible win for either one of these guys. But further back, Dave Jenkins, I tell you, that was some skill, that was. But Ryan Smith caught up in some dirty air there. We've got a little bit of contact with Dave Smith again. I tell you, the right side of Dave's truck is going to need some serious work. He seems to have come off, slowed down, and lost his momentum due to that slight impact. But of course, that was just a bit of good old-fashioned rubbing, wasn't it?
There is absolutely no grip on that grass, is there? So Ryan Smith moves up from second to the back and into the top 6. Now we'll get some positions on the screen for you very shortly. Oh, there's some smoke there. I don't like the look of that. That was similar smoke that we had earlier in the week, where it just turned out to be there's some rubbing, wasn't it?
Does that look like a flat, though? That is the question, because we just saw a bit of contact on the left side for Ryan Smith there with Dave Smith, no relation. And also, he is now producing quite a bit of smoke. Is it just a bit of panel on the tyre? Michael Oliver appears to be making his way. Are they going to let him out onto the track? He's building up some speed. He's out on there, so he has got his truck fixed. That's great to see. Stuart, how are we feeling about Michael making it onto the track?
Yeah, it's really good. Obviously he's a lap down now, which is unfortunate, but he's still in for some points because the number of trucks there is in in that championship. You know, if he finishes, you still get classified, so that's good. But it's really interesting to see what's going on here. You know, there's a real big battle going on at the front, which is impeding Ryan without a doubt. And Ryan, no doubt, has a tyre issue because I think his contact with Dave Smith, there was a bit of rubbing, which whether it's punctured a tyre or not, but it's sort of certainly slowed him down a little bit. But you know, I have to say, John Powell there, Division 2 truck, sitting in third, 2-3 laps in.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely, you won't see that very. Oh, a big slide down.
Is that Neil Yates out now? Well, that was Steve Powell. Steve Powell gets spun out. I don't see where the contact happened there. Steve Powell made his way. And he's got back on the tarmac though, which is fantastic news. Here we go. So looks for a deep dive in for. Oh, it was Neil Yates. Oh, it's very tricky, those two trucks. Looking both very similar liveries with the MYR there. But it does appear though that of course we've got John Bowler there out in first place now. Steve Powell in second. John Powell in third from Division 2, of course. Will we see? No, we're carrying on. It literally just looked like the back end went out. Ryan Smith, Dave Jenkins sailing past with no issues whatsoever. Now Dave Jenkins looking for the room past John Powell, of course. 3 abreast again. This is a tight race. They're all looking for the same line, aren't they, Ewan?
Yeah, there's damage on the rear right of Dave Jenkins and a couple of rubbing incidents with Ryan Smith, and they go toe-to-toe into the club chicane again. This does not fit 2 trucks around it. Dave Jenkins will just squeeze in front. Ryan Smith over the corner, and Dave Jenkins, this is a defensive masterclass right now, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible, and of course the skill that's involved in keeping it on the track whilst defending and trying to look for that next space as well. It really is insane, but it looks like experience has trumped the speed of John Bowler as Steve Powell moves in to first place. But I'm saying no, John is not over yet. I'm still looking for a space back past we saw earlier on, the transition of positions in Division 2 as they swap places several times in one lap. John is after Steve Powell now. He wants his first place back.
We said a few times yesterday during all this series there wasn't a lot of overtaking, but the greasy track, I know it looks pretty dry now, but it's still adding to the excitement. Ryan Smith all over the back of the Dave Jenkins, looks on the outside, looks on the inside, goes back to the out. Is he going to get through? No, Dave Jenkins still holding on like a roadblock in the middle of the road, and Ryan Smith cannot get through right now. Is there lasting damage to that tyre? He's definitely not got the speed that he had in the opening 3 races. Dives to the inside. Is this the move as they come round the wide out Goodwood? And then they'll go towards green. This will be the left-hander. Will have the advantage into that one. And he has finally got part. Oh, that's the leader.
No, he's not. He's still behind Dave Jenkins. Will he try the duck and dive move again, though, coming up on this corner? This is where he'll come out wide, shoot round the back and take him on the inside that we saw in that previous race, which I was extremely impressed by, you know, being a professional racing driver and everything. Here we go. Looks like he's lining up. But no, he's sticking it down the inside. We are side by side. It's a bit of touch and go there as he sends Dave Jenkins wide round the chicane, cuts the line. I'm not sure which side of the fence that would fall on.
I want Stuart's opinion on that one.
I don't think Stuart wants to give his opinion on that one. And but it is sailing ahead into third position then for Ryan Smith, leaving Dave Jenkins in the 4th. With Tom O'Rourke still battling ahead. But I think, you know, we've got to be really impressed with the rest of the drivers here because they're so closely bunched this race. Usually the gaps are huge by now. But of course Ryan Smith only holding a 3-second deficiency behind Bowler at the moment.
I mean, for entertainment purposes, with all respect, you don't want somebody winning the race by 10-12 seconds. You want these battles straight from front to back.
This is what it's about.
And there's a race on now. Ryan Smith is clearly not got the speed he had in the first 3 races, but he's only got a 3-second gap to bridge. You'd think that he could probably make that, but we don't know about the damage to the tyre. Is that going to be long lasting? Is that was it just a bit of rubbing on the inside maybe?
Well, it doesn't appear to be producing smoke anymore, so yeah, whatever it was has worn off. But looks like Division 2 has settled back to where it would usually find itself on the pack. Yates and Michael obviously bringing round the back there, unfortunately for them. But no, we've got Paul Rivette now with his freshly repaired truck. But of course, I would say John Powell will still be looking for any possible space. I wonder what happened to John. We didn't see how he ended up so far back because he was in 3rd at one point, then all of a sudden, well, not. Now,
just look at the gap here. It was 3.11 back to Smith, and this will be a really significant time here. What has he bridged it to? It is going to be, he was about 4/10 quicker on that lap alone, so it's going to be sub-3 now, I'd imagine. 1.83. He's almost half the deficit in one lap. He's going to be a man on a mission, but still got to get past 2 sort of 3 metre wide trucks. It's not all over quite yet, just over halfway through this race. Dave Jenkins cannot really afford to keep losing points on these championships, only a couple at a time, but he'll be dead keen to try, which is now almost an identical gap between second and third as it is to third and fourth. He's actually got a fight behind him in Tom O'Rourke as well.
That's right, it's impressive to see. I think Ryan must have a problem with the rear tyre, because he's slower through the complex, but on the fast bits he's managing to maintain and close the gap, but you know, he doesn't seem to pull away through the complex, which sort of indicate he's having a bit of rear traction problem. But looking there now, he is reeling John Bowler in, and it's just going to be a matter of time before he's on his back end, and we'll see what happens from there.
So Ryan Smith going for his 4th win of the weekend. Dave Jenkins had 3 podiums as well already, so both incredibly consistent. And we'll look again. Oh yeah,
he's on the hunt now, isn't he? Yeah. He's on the hunt. This is it. We're going to see this in the next lap or 2 maximum, as Ryan Smith just looking now for that space, judging it in, waiting for John Bowler to leave the tiniest gap where he will be able to make it stick probably very soon. We've got about 4 laps left of the race, and he is so on it. This will be the moment now where he puts that almighty power down of that Freightliner through the complex past the start finish line. This is usually when he'll be making his move. Coming out, is he going to look for a space or not? Come on, Ryan, here we go. Biding his time. This is so unlike the patience of Ryan Smith here. I've not seen it before.
Well, this is the latest into a race so far this weekend where Ryan has not been in the lead. You think, oh, can they work together and cause a roadblock? But of course, everybody wants to take their position on the podium. But right now, it is Stephen Powell leading the way, and it's getting tighter and tighter. Stuart, if there's one place on this racetrack which is the corner to overtake, which one is it?
I think where they're coming up to now, with sort of is it Village there at the top. Ryan is great. As you can see, he's keeping himself out wide. He'll have the crossover back through. I'm sure you're going to see exactly a Ryan Smith move here, which he will. But he comes up the inside, but he is having a bit of a slide at the back. But there you go. He's got himself, and as long as he's more than he isn't 3/4. So he definitely has traction problems, without a doubt. So it's making for a fantastic race. I'm very surprised Steve Powell hasn't pulled away, because he passed John, and then he seemed to be faster than John, past John, but now John's right on his bumper, so possibly Steve's got a few issues as well there, so it's certainly leading for an exciting last few laps.
Right, well, back in towards the club chicane, and Mr. Bowler just looking for a little look on the outside there, which are too wide, which means Ryan can't get past at this stage. Maybe going for a little reversal now. And Powell, this is looking pretty good, actually.
I'll tell you what, Steve Powell, if he can hold it out this long. Oh, we've got Ryan Smith now made it past John Bowler. This is not going to be good news for Steve Powell with just coming up to 3 minutes left of the race. Will he be able to hold his position for the next 2 laps or so? And of course, will he get across the line to make it a full 3 laps left? But he's already gaining on him, 0.82 of a second gap, which is absolutely nothing for Ryan Smith to make up in probably half a lap. But what's happening further back? We've had some changes round. Tom O'Rourke has somehow made it past Dave Jenkins. When did that happen? And now we're looking at Dave Smith looking for a space past the Jenkins 69 truck as well. Do we think that they're all coming out with a few issues? We're pushing too hard. We did see some twitchy movement from Dave Jenkins a couple of laps ago. Are we starting to lose a bit of traction on his tyres? Are they going off a bit, do we think?
Remember, we can only ever see one image. Oh, up the inside. Is this the move already? No, he won't. It will be defended. Ooh. Powell just about holding on. Ryan Smith moves to the outside.
This is what we're talking about. He's obviously got issues with that truck, because he would have been miles ahead by now. It goes without saying. So the fact that he's biding his time, he's looking for that gap. He wants to do this safely and cleanly, because obviously he knows that he's got some trust issues with that at the moment. We see some huge power there, though, from that Freightliner as he's looking for the position. But Steve is pedal to the metal. I am not letting you through. This is my race. We've got 1 lap left. And I want the trophy.
This is important. They need to go past. If they go go past 140. Of course, their lap times are 140, so will we get, is this the last lap? They need to cross on 0. We might get one more in, you know, so we might have to defend, well, one more lap. It could be 2.
Oh, I do not want to be in that number 3 MAN at the moment. I tell you, the pressure Steve Powell must be under is just excruciating. 0.3 of a gap. I mean, that's literally just being polite. I mean, what's going on with that back end? Tom O'Rourke, though, seems to be gaining on the whole pack. Just goes to show the amount of defensive driving that does cost speed and momentum that's going on at the front of the pack. But John Bowler still in for that 3rd place at the moment. He's still giving it everything he's got. You can see the way that the truck's handling. He's pushing it, pushing it, pushing it.
Now, Ryan Smith is a racing driver. He likes to win. He also likes to race. He will be absolutely loving this one because it's not often he gets a fight like this.
I know. I mean, do you think someone gave him the memo? Do you think someone said, "Oh, they're talking about you. If you race at the front, people will watch you for more for longer."
He's not got the power, has he?
This
might be the one, though.
Yeah. There we go. He's made it stick, but will it stay there? The speed of Steve Powell might see him past again, but he is definitely fully in front now. All he's got to do is close that gap and make it round the next lap.
Now, this is crucial. This might be the last lap. We might get one more. Depends when it stops to 0. Just the club chicane to come. It's looking more and more like we will see the checkered flag. Or are we going to get one more? They've got a few seconds to go over the start-finish line. Is the flag out, or do we get another? Yes,
it is.
Just by a couple of seconds.
Oh, mate, half a lap. He lost it by half a lap. Can you believe it? But still, a 2nd place trophy goes to Steve Powell, which I'm sure he'll be extremely happy with, and another trophy for John Bowler this weekend. Coming round the Division 2 now, Paul Rivette takes it in the Napa Racing truck, followed very closely by John Powell. I'll be looking forward to speaking to John and seeing what happened, or unless we can get a replay. What a fantastic race, though, Ewan. That was brilliant to watch.
And brilliant. Just to give credit to Paul Rivette, his first win of the weekend as well, a couple of 2nd places in Div 2, so he gets his first win. But Ryan Smith, 4 in a row, but by far the biggest challenge in race number 4. Hats off to Steve Powell.
Absolutely, Steve. You know, we all love the see who wins, and Steve was trying, and he will be kicking himself. You know, he left the door open a little bit, and that's Ryan's classic overtake and move, and it paid off again as it has many times this weekend. And it's good to see Michael's finishing the race.
So that will be points on the board. It's bittersweet for Steve, isn't it? Because him and his team will know they've put in a brilliant performance, but just not got the trophy to show it.
That's right. Very unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but fortunate for Ryan. It's pros and cons of who wins the race. But Steve, he did put up a good challenge. I was surprised when he passed John Bowler. How said earlier on in the race, I did think he would pull away and get a bit more of a buffer and a bit more of a gap. But he sort of got past, but he didn't seem to pull a gap, and that. Whether he had some issues mid-race, or I don't know, or he just thought he was comfortable in that position, and if he'd only just got himself a few more meters away from Ryan, maybe the result would have been different.
So there are our official results on the screen. Ryan Smith, 4 wins out of 4 at Thruxton. One more race to come later on this afternoon. Stephen Powell, a valiant effort, just half a lap back off being a pole winner, takes 2nd place. John Bowler, a brilliant 3rd as well, ahead of Tom O'Rourke and Dave Jenkins. Maybe issues for Dave Jenkins, not the speed we've seen so far this weekend from him. David Smith in 6th place. Paul Rivette, first win of the weekend in Div 2 ahead of John Powell. Neil Yates, 7th in class. Simon Cole, 3rd, currently championship leader coming into this week, and consistency is the key. And Michael Oliver does finish 1 lap down. He'll get points on the board. Ryan Smith, fastest lap, 1:37.71, set quite at the end on lap number 6. Stuart, once again, absolute pleasure to have you with us. Will you join us for race number 5, please?
Yeah, I would love to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good. Right, let's go down to Pointy in just a moment. So Pointy is running over towards Parc Ferme, and he will speak to a few of the drivers. But that is exactly what we want to see from British Truck Racing. End-to-end coverage and end-to-end thrills from start to finish. More of the same, please, in race number 5. That is scheduled for 4:50. I very much doubt it will take place at that time. We're running about half an hour behind right now. But officially, we go to a lunch break shortly. How long that will be, nobody knows. But let's wait for Pointy, who will be in Parc Ferme very shortly with a couple of the drivers.
Well, there we have it. I'm back on the ground. Ryan, come on over here. We're not allowed over there. Absolutely incredible race. First of all, what was wrong with the truck? Because we all knew that there was something going on with the back there.
Dave Smith and Dave Jenkins hit me. Obviously, I don't think Dave Smith's very clean. He obviously didn't know I was there twice. I was twice up his inside, and I think he's knocked my rear axle out a bit. Didn't know I was up his inside, and then Dave kept squeezing me to the grass, should I say.
I'll tell you what though, like we were just talking in the commentary box before that race, saying how we had some comments online that we don't really talk about you much when you're racing. And I was like, it was because he's always at the front, you know?
Honestly. Do you know sitting from 5th or 6th position?
Yeah.
I seen a comment online earlier about no overtaking, just following the leader. I think at one point, Neil Yates, John Powell, Dave Jenkins, Steve Powell and me all down the pit straight.
Yeah.
If that don't whet your appetizer, I don't know what will.
I'll tell you, it was incredible racing to watch.
You know what? Thoroughly, Steve made no mistake. Probably deserved to win it.
It was half a lap. There was half a lap in it.
But we're here to put a show on, and you know the crowd's paid money to get here, and I give everything. Then
I mean, we could see, man. We could see every corner. We were looking, and we were in the commentary. Me and you, and we're like, "Oh, this is when he's going to do it. This is what." No, he's not. What's going on?
His pace was good, although he was in front. He wasn't really backing me up, so his pace was good. Delighted for the team. Delighted for Steve. He deserves that. He drove really well. But you know, for people to say that, oh, there's not much overtaking, you need to rewatch that race when you.
That was phenomenal. It really was. I think everybody had a good go at racing there. Thank you very much, Ryan. We're just waiting for the last couple of trucks to come in, but let's go and have a quick word. Just come straight across. It'll be fine. We're going to have a quick word over here with Steve Powell. Don't worry about the trucks crashing into me. I'm going to take out the fences. Steve, what a race. What a race. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, we honestly thought you had that in the bag. It was just one half a lap and it was gone, taken away. Oh, I think it was robbed. I think it was robbed. Yeah. We're getting feedback from the crowds here. But honestly, I mean, Ryan just said himself, phenomenal pace, brilliant driving. We were kind of rooting for you there. It's like, is he going to make it stick? Is he going to make it stick?
It's frustrating because the last race we went on a dry setup for a wet race, and then we've gone wet. And it was perfect all the way around, apart from the bend before Church, and where the shot is just bouncing. So I had to lift, and he got behind me, and he seen me lift the bend before, so he just bided his time, got up the inside, give him the room, and yeah, do you know what? We started 7th to finish 2nd. I'm over the moon anyway, but the win would have been. Yeah.
Would have been amazing. But I tell you what, a second place trophy, that was some great racing. And what a battle as well. I mean, you literally held it there the entire race. But can you someone explain to me how, I mean, you were neck and neck with John at one point, and yet all of a sudden then he's back with the Division 2s. Did you see where he went?
No, I didn't. We've got good pace here, and we know that. We're still a bit hit and miss in the wet, but we know for the dry we've got really good pace. And once we knew we had the better of John, but he slips up a bit coming out of the chicane. So, but yeah, it's hard. Once you go back, it's so hard to catch. I mean, we've done the first race yesterday was a split second off the start, and then we're just trying to chase them, and it's so hard. It's so hard. And then there was 3 of them going into the chicane together, and I thought, this is all right, I'll just hung back, and then they all went, and I went right around the outside. So no, over the moon for me and the team and the sponsors. So
excellent work. Well done, Steve. Can't wait to hand you a trophy.
And I get another interview with you. So.
Another interview with me.
Oh, by the way, it's coming home.
It's coming. It's not. It might possibly.
Come on,
no.
Come on, yesterday.
No.
Go back to yesterday. It's coming home.
It's possibly coming home.
Coming home.
I'll let you say it's coming home when they make it to the final. Then you can say it's coming home.
Racing, so we won't be talking
I see. Fine. Whatever. Right then. Who have we got over here? A good finish then, of course, of Simon Cole making it all the way around this time, and of course Michael Oliver getting some points in there as well. We've just quickly stopped this guy. We know you're busy. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
It's Mark, and I'm from TMS, and I look after all the cameras and the telematics side for the speed and the judicial side.
There we go. So in case you ever wonder how official decisions are made after the fact, Mark, we work again in partnership with the championship this year of TMS. He actually's got all the cameras in all of the trucks with, I think they're fire protected and shot protected hard drives, and then the officials can replay all of the 360 footage from the trucks to decide decide what's going on. So sometimes we don't get the best angles at home, especially not when we're deciding on the moment, in the moment. You've got to be aware of everything that's going on around you, and that's what these officials are getting to see, and those are the camera angles that, of course, not yet, but one day we might get to see ourselves. John,
How did he get on?
come on, I think he did all right. Come and
I
get
don't
close.
actually genuinely know how he got on.
He was watching from the pit lane. If anyone
He was watching from the pit lane.
Bloody out there,
He was on the country drive in last place,
Will
I
you
think.
still tell us how he got on?
He came in third, mate. He didn't try and hump anybody though.
Hump anybody?
Yeah, he was just trying to get a free lift on the back of Dave Smith. I mean,
The BBC be covering up what that just happened.
if you wanted a free lift for the race, you should have just said he could have hooked up early on. No,
I've seen heaven.
I bet you.
I've seen heaven.
What happened very quickly? What happened there? Do you know? I mean, we looked like you were 4 abreast at one
I
point.
think I can fill us in. It
Okay.
was he got his age mixed up, ambition and ability.
Oh, run out of talent. Is that what we're saying?
I think we're going to work with that today.
It was a drive-by shooting. I was literally.
Oh, for goodness sake. There was a photographer up on the hill that just kind of flashed in your eyes at the last minute. Was that what it was?
No, I was just minding my own business, tooling around around the corner. Then all of a sudden it was bang, Uzi through the
There's
window.
3 trucks in front of you, beside you. You were boxed in. You were boxed in.
John Bowler playing Super Mario, chucking bananas out the window.
John Bowler, you were hearing this blasphemy? You weren't throwing bananas at him out the window, were
I
you?
struggle to understand his accent most of the time, so I just agree.
Yeah, just opposite sides, aren't you? Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, if we had a competition for the hardest to understand accents in this championship, we'd have to have a lot of first place trophies, that's all I'm saying. John, though, another great result for you. Seriously, all joking aside, second trophy for the weekend. You've got to be super chuffed with that, haven't you? I mean, the skill you showed us there, you were at the front. You didn't just end up at the front, you were at the front, like, for the entire race.
Yeah, no, we're really happy how it went. I think we were second fastest lap, so that's a new set. We're getting out with the truck. It's doing what it's meant to do, and we're just really impressed how it's performing.
Just don't play with too many bits now. Just like, you know what, that was good. Let's just leave it like this. Yeah.
Nothing else, yeah.
Yeah, just maybe change the colour of it. Don't any setup. Leave it. Right, just leave it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but no, really good. Team's done really well. Truck's performing great. Good battle with Steve and Ryan. So yeah, it was good, interesting racing.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you very much. We'll get you a trophy very soon. Another congratulations to John Bowler.